Hello everybody and welcome to another Kerbal Space Program video. Today we will be doing episode 3 in my Kerbal Space Program science series. Today's goal is to get to the Mun using the new parts that I unlocked previously. I'm doing an extremely similar design for the science module since I'm not going to be bringing a scientist with me. I made an area to put it that also comes back with us, so I don't have to go out and collect all the data. And then what I'll be using is the longer fuel tank instead of a few short ones, just because it looks nicer and it's easier. And I'll also be using the Terrier engine because it's more efficient. And it's a pretty simple start, but I would advise not doing an exact replica of this rocket. It was very hard to control. I could barely steer it into orbit because I did not have the right decoupler to get to the second stage of the rocket because it was wider than the previous ones. But other than that, pretty good rocket until you get. I would also advise using struts and other things to make it more stable. I just worked with what I had, and again, I would not recommend doing this rocket exactly. I have 4 boosters on the sides and fins. I was going to put them there, but then I realized it would get the plume right in it, and that would burn it up. And as you can see, we're doing a night launch. The footage is sped up, so I am not actually moving and accelerating this quickly. The speedometer is correct, but I'm not actually accelerating as fast as it says I am. It's a normal ascent, except because of the fins I chose, I forgot that these fins cause you to spin a little bit, so these fins are not great unless you place them just right. And since the outer boosters did not have gimbal, I had trouble rotating it, so this is one of the reasons why the ascent was so hard. If you do build this rocket, go for the smaller fins, because it just kept spinning out of control until I got right at the first stage, which lasted a long time. Also, and there go the boosters and the engines on the sides. That I got the idea from the Sea Dragon rocket, actually, because it had engines. It had a single massive engine on the bottom and then 4 smaller ones up a little bit that gimbaled and had kind of like these, except different size and shape, obviously. And as you can see, this rocket was extremely wobbly, which is one of the reasons why I would advise not doing it exactly the way I did, because it was just super wobbly, could not control it. Eventually, though, I finally get it straightened out, but that took a few minutes of trying to footsing with it and trying to get it on course. Oh, and there you can see the space station, space center below us. you can really just see the runway and the vehicle assembly building because it's so dark. But that might be the spaceplane hangar. I think that is the spaceplane hangar. That's that white dot. Comment below if you have any other mod ideas that you want me to put on, or any other series ideas like I said in the last video, which at the time I'm recording this has actually only been uploaded for about 20 minutes. So if you're watching this and you have not watched the previous videos in the series, definitely go watch them. And episode 2.5 is just the build. It's not the mission, just the build for one of the other rockets for episode 2 that got deleted. So definitely check that out if you watched episode 2 but not 2.5. This is about when I got it straightened out. It wasn't perfect, but it was at least not wobbling a ton anymore. That's really it for the next minute or so before the first stage is dropped. And yes, it looks kind of like plasma because you can see red, but that's really just the light reflecting off of the rocket from the sun because it's sunrise now. Find a picture of the Mun from Kerbin and comment below if you think it looks like the Death Star from Kerbin. From outer space, it does not. Oh, there it is right now. Is it just me, or does it look like the Death Star is coming out of hyperspace? Because in my opinion, it does. Because that giant crater to me looks like the Death Star super laser. If any of you make mods, someone please make a mod that adds Star Wars parts like a hyperdrive. Please. I would definitely play with that mod on, and I might even do a whole series on that mod if you do. And I'll definitely give you a shout out if you tell me you did on the first series of the video. Oh, I didn't even notice, but we just, I'm not sure how long ago, but we have dropped the first stage. I just now noticed that, sorry. We are also approaching 1,000 meters per second or 1 kilometer per second. We'll start getting some plasma soon. That's just the compressed air. But that's pretty much it for a little bit. Also, comment below if you have any ideas for things I can talk about. Wow, the footage is going on. Any other topics? I could do a question-answer session where I just read your comments while the footage is being played out and look for questions and answer them. Or I could do something else. And we have passed 11,000, nope, not 11,000, 1,100 meters per second, 1,100 meters per second. And we have plasma. Now I'm just trying to get into an orbit, increase the amount of delta V I have left over, which is just the ability for the rocket to change its speed. Also, if you have any ideas when I should start putting out merchandise, I'm probably not going to do it until at least 100 subscribers, probably more, but just tell me when you want me to put it out, if it's more than 100. I'm probably going to wait until 1,000. 100 is the absolute minimum for merchandise, in my opinion. So I'm probably going to wait till 1,000 subscribers, but just tell me what you think when you think I should start putting out merchandise. Oh, and we are halfway through the video already. Now that I'm in orbit, nothing really much to talk about. I'm just getting a target for the Mun. I have some issues with it. Says I get an encounter, yet I have to change my orbit slightly even after it says I should have an encounter. After a few orbits, it says I will not get an encounter. So I have to slightly change my orbit. I might go silent on this series for a little bit once I get pretty much all the science I can from the Kerbin system, because I just have a hard time getting interplanetary missions, so I'll just be trying to perfect that technique off camera in a different world and before I do the video for it. So I might go silent on this series. And in the comments, please don't ask if I have any social media other than YouTube. I don't. Just to clear that up. I might eventually, but not for a while. And this is when I realized I wouldn't get an encounter, so I just kept time warping until I would get an encounter. I did a few orbits and then just gave up. Because apparently it would be like 50 orbits in the future or something. And then I really just stop, try and get an encounter. And apparently that one did not actually get me an encounter. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I time warped a little bit too far. Maybe that was the problem. I'm not sure. So apparently I would get an encounter in the next few orbits, and I did. Didn't get a very high periapsis, so I just shrunk it down for a future orbit. So I would get closer. I just did some science experiments up here. Then I just did a few more orbits, came back around the Mun. Since I could not warp all the way to there, I just warped there. And then I realized that I would not be able to I would get thrown out if I didn't burn. So I just did some more science experiments. Not much is going on really. I'm just burning retrograde to try and shrink down my periapsis and also get into an orbit. I actually made a massive mistake here because as I was burning, it says I'm burning retrograde, but then something happens and I'm guessing I burned for too long. And apparently, I burned for so long that I shrunk down my orbit, I'm guessing, and then I just got spit back out the other side. So now I'm just kind of warping down. I'm not in the atmosphere yet, but I'm getting lower, and the reason I have not detached my lower stage is because I wanted to give you all some fireworks. Now that I've entered the atmosphere, since I'm going so fast, I'm still super high up. I actually thought I would hit the ground, still going at over 1,000 meters per second, because I was going so fast, and you'll see why in a little bit. Because I was still flying so fast that there was plasma. But that was just me checking if things were about to explode, and apparently they were, and there were your fireworks. You'll see in a minute why I really thought that I would still be going over 1,000 meters per second, because I was going super low in the atmosphere and I was still going 1,500 plus meters per second. Sorry there. But I'm already below 30 kilometers up, still going pretty much at orbital velocity. Now I'm not at orbital velocity for low Kerbin orbit, but I'm still going really fast. So, as you can see, I'm almost below 20 kilometers up, and I'm still going super duper fast. I didn't have no plasma at all until I was about 17 kilometers up, because I entered super fast. And looks like we're about to splash down. Again, if you have any ideas for things I can talk about when nothing's really going on, just comment below what you think I should talk about. I dropped out of time warp for a second because the heat shield glitched into my capsule, so I just let it fall and then I got back in time warp. There's only a minute left in the video, so please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. I just have to collect my science, and that pretty much wraps up the video. But oh yeah, there's one more thing I wanted to say. So Thanks for watching, because this is because if you're watching this when it first comes out, and I don't know you personally, really means a lot, because that means I know someone has found my channel that I don't know. Oh, and also please comment down below if I should get not general construction. I took a minute to choose between those two. Actually, yeah, general construction and flight control. Which should I get? Comment below. I can only afford one. I'm gonna buy it in the beginning of the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.